one of the things that's just wreaking havoc in the conservative space that I subsist in is obviously that we've talked about it a lot on the show, is Tucker Carlson interviewing Nick Fuentes, who's a infamous neo-Nazi who has said just hideous things, not only about Jewish people, about women, about all minorities, Black people. I mean, we've read some of the statements. It's honestly so gross and disturbing that like, it's a pretty unfathomable that that this is like where we're at right now. President Trump was asked about this yesterday, of all things. I'd like to show the clip number 4, please, of Trump responding to whether or not Tucker Carlson should be interviewing Nick Fuentes.
Great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide. The mayor of New York, I will say, would like to meet with us, and we'll work something out. But he would like to come to Washington and meet, and we'll work something out. We want to see everything work out well for New York.
You yourself had dinner with Nick Fuentes at Mar-A-Lago a few years ago. What role should he play in the conservative movement?
Well, I didn't know he was coming, and he was with, as you know, somebody, Kanye. And Kanye asked if he could have dinner, and he brought Nick. I didn't know Nick at the time. And he did. He came, and along with a few other people. He brought a few people with him. Meeting people, talking to people, like for somebody like Tucker, that's what they do. People are controversial. Some are, some aren't. I'm not controversial, so I like it that way. Okay.
Thanks, Ashley. Okay, so really quick, I did watch the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes interview because we were talking about it, everyone was talking about it. I did watch it. It's not about interviewing people. I'm sure you have sat in front of, you're an international global affairs CNN reporter. I'm sure you've had to interview people that are disgusting and monsters. It's not about sitting down for the interview. It's about pressing people on their disgusting ideas. And that interview was the most softball. At one point, Nick Fuentes says, "I love Stalin," and they just moved on. Like, I'm sorry, Bianna, if you said, "I love Stalin" to me, I'd be like, what? Please tell me why you sound insane. Why is Trump downplaying this? My concern is that, and I tweeted this morning, that like Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes are going to open up the 28 RNC convention.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think that we're that far removed from worrying about that very thing happening. The fact that the president, who has come out and, whenever he wants to, lashes out at what he sees on television, this line that everybody has the right to interview or talk to anybody they want, flies in the face of even some legal battles that he has pressed on certain interviews and conversations and what's been said and editing. So that makes zero sense. Nick Fuentes, I think, followed that statement from the president by thanking him. So there you go. You see how that's been viewed. And I don't know if this is the president sort of concerned about infighting within the MAGA world, especially at a time when maybe he's at his most vulnerable among Republicans, among his MAGA base in this second term, for sure, over the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. But I would have expected both him and JD Vance. It's not difficult to come out and condemn every single thing that you just called out. It's not necessarily the fact that Tucker Carlson platformed someone like Nick Fuentes, though I would think twice about doing that anyway. But if you're going to interview them and you call yourself a journalist, we've seen some hard-pressed interviews, even recently, that Tucker Carlson has conducted. He knows how to ask the tough questions. Just go back and look at his interview, not with Democrats, but with fellow Republicans like Ted Cruz. That was a back and forth combative conversation, the opposite of what we saw with Nick Fuentes. And there had been some reporting that apparently they discussed some of the topics the night before, that Nick Fuentes was concerned that this may be a bit combative, and that he apparently said, once I knew the topics, or once I knew where the conversation was going to be headed, he was much more comfortable. So this is beyond just playing footsie with racists and anti-Semites. This is platforming them. And, at some point, I think we're going to have to be honest with ourselves and, say that this does appear that Tucker and others are supporting them. If you're not pushing back and you're calling yourself a journalist, I don't know how else to describe it.
And I'm
No, I
sorry,
agree.
but
Go ahead. Sorry, Miranda, go ahead.
for President Trump to say that he didn't know who Kanye West was going to bring into Mar-a-Lago is nonsense. He's the president of the United States, whether he was sitting or not. I don't remember the exact dates of the interview, but he has Secret Service. That place you can't just walk into Mar-a-Lago as a random person.
You're vetted, right?
You're vetted, exactly. So he knew, or someone on his team knew who was walking in, who they are. Kanye had already started making his bizarre, insane statements about, who runs the world and etc. So to say that he was ignorant of who he was going to have dinner with and what they discussed, he as soon as he started spouting his anti-Semitic stuff, he should have kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago immediately. But he sat there and had a long leisurely meal with him. It was photographed by the paparazzi and or whoever and released into the public. So I'm not buying his line about he didn't know who Nick Fuentes was. It's not true. He's lying.
Bianna, the pushback on me a lot is that I just don't understand Israel. That I'm like a someone being covered for Israel. We are accused on this show daily of somehow being paid by Israel. I've never been paid by a foreign country for anything in my entire life. I grew up a Zionist. I still am. It's part of my faith. It's part of my political leanings. Like, I'm not ashamed, but there is this feeling among people like Tucker that we're shills and we don't understand the issue. But when he did the interview with Nick Fuentes, one of the things Nick Fuentes says was he was talking about the Jewry. My problem is so many times when I'm debating someone, and I'm happy to have a conversation about Israel and Palestine that's just political, but it very quickly always devolves into anti-Semitic tropes. And I want to show you one more video really quick. And I just want to say, like, I went back and forth with Ashley, my producer here, whether even to show this, because it is one of the worst things I've seen in a long time. And I'm like, not hard to shock, but I think it's important that this was done by a One America News, which is a very conservative or alt-right, whatever network. Vish Burra, who is the booker and scriptwriter for One America News Network's The Matt Gaetz Show, and he also makes appearances on the program. He shared this video depicting himself threatening a group of Jews who are displayed as cockroaches in this clip. I just wanted to tell people this is, I don't like the word triggering, but it's really disgusting, but I think it's worth sharing because this is all about what is being accepted and the Overton window that's being moved. Number 5, please.
Susie, James, I know what you're up to in there. Open up. It's America first, America only, bitches.
So America only is the new narrative. I'm so sorry. I can see the look on your face. I'm sorry, Bianca. And I'm
disgusting.
sorry to
No, it's
everyone. Like
disgusting.
But we need to show this to see
yeah.
this is what they think Matt Gaetz. This guy was almost what was he up for?
Attorney General.
Pam
Yeah.
Bondi's job. Yeah. So it's like this guy was almost a high-ranking cabinet member, and this is the kind of crap that his team is putting out.
But
And so they either espouse it or they think that it will elevate them.
And
I
they for
don't know
sure
what's
endorse
worse.
it. Yeah.
Yes.